Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. Viewers, we are switching gears now to talk about some of the things that are happening within our space, especially as it relates to infrastructure. So we are being joined by the Secretary of Infrastructure, Quarries and Urban Development, and that is Mr. Trevor James. So a special good morning and welcome to you, Mr. James.
Good morning, Kandace. Good morning, Tobago. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. It's always a pleasure to be here, Kandace.
All right, and now we're going to get things kicked off because we've got quite a lot to be speaking about this morning. But we're going to get started with what's going on with Friendship Estate and the construction of the road from Sherburne Junction towards Strawberry Local Road. And we know, first of all, there was that court case, there was the injunction filed, but an injunction was lifted. So I want to start with just giving us some details of what happened out of that court case. How did that work out?
Well, as you know, the EMA took out an injunction against the THA for pursuing the road. The court agreed. We went to court, and in the passage of time, the court lifted the injunction, freeing us to continue with the works. The contractor restarted the works, I believe, sometime November. And he's working at pace to complete the road. I think we're going well. The report I have is that they're about 40% complete, and so we expect that early in the new year that road will be completed.
So is there any more concerns where the EMA is concerned? Is there any issues with there? Will we see any other court injunctions or court interventions from the EMA standpoint?
Kandace, I've made this point before, and I keep making this point. The EMA is a quasi-government institution. So is the THA. The history of the EMA's interaction with the THA is known in Tobago. The EMA, the majority of the projects executed under the last regime over an extended period the data shows that the majority of them started without EMA submission or approval. The EMA has taken a stance as part of a response to the elections, the results of the elections, to take a stance to delay the projects in Tobago as much as they can as part of the central government's response to the will of the people of Tobago. And we will continue to do our best to treat with that. There is not much that we can do. We've had MOUs with the EMA, we meaning the THA. We've attempted to work together, and we will continue to do that. We are not law-breaking citizens in the THA. We understand the law. We may have a different slant in our appreciation of our responsibility under the law that gives us the authority over the environment. We may have a difference of opinion with the EMA, but certainly we believe that both entities should be working together for the development of Tobago, and we will continue to do our best to do that.
Now, there are some concerns with the construction of that road, and that is in relation to some of the historical heritage that's present in that area. There was a concern that a 100-year-old chattel building was destroyed recently in the process. I wanted to get some perspective on you. So what's going on? What happened there? Was there a breakdown in communication?
I don't
happened?
know if there was any destruction of any 100-year-old building on the site. Mm-hmm. We must understand that the state of Trinidad and Tobago purchased the site, and the state, in purchasing the site, would have cleared the site of all encumbrances. That's the law. Everyone else that returned to the site thereafter as squatters. Every building, every tree down there belongs to the state. The THA is part of the governance infrastructure of the state of Trinidad and Tobago. And the THA, under the laws of Trinidad and Tobago, has certain rights. And we exercise those rights as we have been given the mandate of the people. Now, there are some historical buildings. There is, in fact, a sugar mill and so on, which the judgment was clear that we as the THA should take certain steps with the EMA to ensure that those are preserved, and we are in fact taking those steps. I don't think, I'm sure, if those were under threat, the EMA would have been making a big stink about it. No other building that was mentioned in the order from the court in lifting the injunction that was meant to be preserved has been destroyed.
But what's the division's position when it comes to, balancing development with the need to preserve some of our historical sites, buildings, ruins, whatever the case may be?
No, generally, I mean, this issue will arise. It has arisen in the conversations, in the consultations with the Bay of Scarborough. This issue will continue to arise, and I think we have demonstrated that we will be responsible. I mean, we came out before even getting into office to say, for example, that we will lift the wrecks in the bay and preserve them. I think as a government, we understand the need to build out a tourism infrastructure around the heritage that we have. And we have not taken and will not take any action to destroy what we believe to be heritage sites around the island. Our intent is to develop them and preserve them. On this estate, there are a couple of sites which we will preserve.
And also, what happens? What's been going on in terms of the conversation with even the people that are residing in the area? I know you refer to them as quarters, but I just again want to get some perspective, because from my understanding, there are some people that are unhappy with the way things are going, and not too sure what's going to come out of it. But we're just trying to understand, from the division's perspective, what's happening there.
No, we have been responsible. All of Tobago has to take piece of the responsibility. We will do our best to ensure that people who are occupying the estate now, who will be displaced by this development and future developments to come on the estate, that we will do our best to take care of them. I know the Chief Sec is on record as saying that farmers who are there will be given lands elsewhere and so on. And I think that type of action will continue. The goal is not to take a living away from somebody, whether they've been squatting or not. But we all have to be reasonable in what we expect. There is this idea that squatters have more rights than law-abiding citizens. There are hundreds of Tobagonians looking for pieces of land for years and can't get a piece. What gives a squatter more rights to the heritage that belongs to the people of Tobago than the other Tobagonian who has been keeping the law? So we have to find a balance. No doubt, the different arms of the THA dealing with this. The Division of Infrastructure is not specifically mandated to move people around on state lands and so on. And I'm sure we'll continue to have the conversations to ensure that we are making the best decision for all concerned.
So what does that balance look like?
Well, what we have said is that as a government, we would try to relocate farmers who are there and persons who have been occupying the estate. That's not our division's responsibility per se. We have initiated the conversations with the Land Management Division and the Office of the Chief Secretary and so on. And I know that will be an ongoing process. We are in the process now of trying to relocate one of the guys and paying a rental, a property for him and all of that. So we're going to make this as humane as we can, as we ought to, and we hope that generally the majority of Tobago benefits from the action that we take.
No, I mean there's the horse stables and that sort of thing that's there. Would that be allowed to continue, or is it that's part of the moving the farmers and so on?
I believe with the developments we have in mind, the horse stables will be relocated. Again, that's a discussion that is taking place at another level. When those decisions are taken, it will be communicated. But personally, I want to say that the people generally of Tobago have more rights than squatters, and ought to have more rights than squatters.
Okay, and then of course when it comes to even the designs of the roads and that sort of thing, there were some concerns, some questions raised, and I just wanted you to give just clarity as to how did that project come about, the contractor, how was the contractor engaged, and that sort of thing.
We've gone through this exercise so many times, Kandace. We are here again trying to respond to frivolous claims from persons who have sat in the seat of government in Tobago, in my opinion, illegally took decisions out of the division by a secretary that was illegally allowed to continue to act as secretary during the 6-6, and notes that went to the executive council, so-called at the time, that was ratified by the chief secretary, all of which will be proven to be illegal, where they committed hundreds of millions of dollars, for which we have been saddled with now to repay, and being hamstrung by a central government that refuses to give us the monies even to investigate. That is why we are here being bogged down by frivolous questions, not only by this gentleman on Facebook who make these claims as though he's been advised by some engineering person, but in the House as well. The truth is that this is a design, build, finance project where the payment is going to be delayed 9 months after completion. The THA has spent no money so far. The staff at the division is in fact supervising the work every day. We have engineers and project people on the site signing off on completion and test on completion as works progress. The designs have been accepted, submitted and accepted. All the tests are in, compaction tests, proctor density and so on. And people are just scared at the pace of which we continue to work. And we will deliver this road again in record time. Whether they go to the EMA, whether they go to the court, we will complete the road in record time, and the people of Tobago will benefit, because we have suffered so long in Tobago with the lethargy of persons who take instructions from Trinidad of what they should do and could do and what they did. And we will continue to move as independently as we can. We'll continue to engage procurement methodologies that help to move the island forward, whether we have money or we don't. And we will continue to take these actions so that the people of Tobago can see real development and not just maintenance work as the budget is designed to do. And we ask the people of Tobago to support these actions, because without these development projects, the island simply cannot move forward. There is this question of local content and all of this kind of thing. The information I have suggests that they've employed more than 140 local people on the site, from truckers to equipment operators. They have staff come from Trinidad who are paying rent in guest houses and buying food and all of that. That's the reality. When you compare that to the airport project that is being run from Trinidad, and you ask about local content down there, and you would see what the difference in this story really is.
And we will get into that conversation quite a little bit more when we come back after the break. So don't worry, viewers. We got more of Trevor James after the break, so stay with us. And welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. Viewers, we are continuing our conversation this morning with the Secretary of Infrastructure, Quarries and Urban Development, and that is Mr. Trevor James, as we discuss quite a bit of what's happening in our space here this morning. Now we're going to move on to what's been happening with the construction of the new airport terminal. And so, Mr. James, what can you share with us of what's happening? Of course, we know that this is something that's being done by central government and not the THA. So, has there been any conversations between the government and the THA as to what's going on with that?
As a government, officially, I would say no. China Railway did make a request of the division to facilitate some of the work they were doing on the site. As part of facilitating, we asked for a copy of the designs, and we are fortunate now in the division to have a copy of the full 100% designs. We will consider whether we would share some of those with the public. I'm going through the designs myself. It will be shared with the engineers and the engineering project management team at the division. We have concerns. I've always expressed my concerns. Since getting into office, I have tempered my concerns and expressions of my concerns in the public. But there are concerns on the design that we are going to end up with. We hope, we've requested meetings with NIDCO, with the Ministry of Finance, and we hope that at some point in the new year, we would have a fruitful discussion and we will begin to participate in the project. No doubt, as end users, the people of Tobago expect their representatives to be fully encouraged with the project so that we participate in it in the end. This idea that because there's a change of government in Tobago, that somehow you're not PNM, so you must stay out. We represent the people, and a lot of us got displaced from down there. People are still reeling under all of these years of no money to rebuild and rental payments that exhaust all the monies that they had and so on. People are still reeling. We are still reeling and from trying to complete the project that was started to place them on Shervan and Cove.
And what is it costing the THA in terms of being able to sort of help all these people that had to be relocated?
A lot of money, a lot of time. We took a decision in the Executive Council to build 50 units for those who are less able. Even that, the funds to do that has not shown itself yet. And we continue to try to do the best that we can for the people. And no doubt the people expect us to represent them as the project is being built out. From the division, we continue to supply China Railway with aggregate and so on for the site, significant quantities actually. And we continue to do that, and we will continue to do that. We have concerns, but we want to see the project progress. And whatever we can do as a division, as a THA, progress the project, we will. We hope that those in Trinidad will begin to treat us with respect and courtesy and so on. But that's a thing that will play out in the public, and the public will judge for themselves and come down on whichever side the public wants to come down on. But no doubt, the THA is a major stakeholder. The THA should be in the project meetings, every meeting be represented. And we will continue to ask for that in the new year.
And what are some of the concerns you have even about the designs of the building and so on?
Well, I don't think we appreciate that the most expensive asset that we have in Tobago is when one of those big planes land in Tobago. That is the most expensive asset that is on the ground in Tobago at that point in time. There is no airport I can think of, no decent airport around the world I can think of, where you can have almost access to a plane from a thoroughfare. I mean, every design I have seen places car park and buildings and roads way away from the tarmac. This design seems to bring airplanes 20-30 feet from the main road. So that is a concern. There is a concern of refueling it. The original 60% designs that I saw at the time did not seem to include piping fuel from the tank farm underground to the new tarmac, which meant that there was some consideration of trucking fuel around as we did back in the 80s. So that was some of the concern. There was a concept that I saw where they were going to put a tank farm on this side of the runway, but east of the terminal building. And anybody with any sense will know that's a disaster waiting to happen. You can't put fuel east of the terminal in the Tobago Northeast Trade Winds context. If there's a trauma at any one of those tanks, the entire terminal is under threat. So there are some concerns that I saw, but we'll continue to go through the 100% design thoroughly as we can, and if we are not approved to meet with the Ministry of Finance and the NIDCO and so on, we will write that in the public and write them publicly.
And have you been able to even communicate with the residents in the area, especially those that are so close to the construction? Because, I mean, we're not too sure what's going to happen with them, if there might be a situation where they might have to be relocated. Like, has there been any reaching out even from those residents? Are they concerned?
Well, this is a design build project, and I would expect that NIDCO, now that they have 100% complete design, will in fact share that with the public and receive comments from the public on the design. It must be that the public that will be affected by the project, you would want to get buy-in from that public. And certainly if I'm living north of Scarborough Local Road in the vicinity of the airport, then certainly I have a right to know at least what the design is and what are the attendant risks to my living here, which I've been living for the last 100 years. And I think NIDCO and the Ministry of Finance has a duty to come to the people of Tobago and present the design and explain it, and explain the logic behind the design, so that people in Tobago can buy into the project as end users.
All right. So we're switching up now to what's going on with the Scarborough Redevelopment project, and you would have sent out, or at least made public, all the feasibility studies and so on. And then we heard the Prime Minister complaining about this 2,000-page document that he received and that sort of thing. What's the latest where that's concerned?
Well, we are negotiating now with an entity who has expressed an interest to finance and build the project. We've issued a letter of intent. The team at the division, headed by staff at the division, continue to work assiduously to bring home this project to the people of Tobago. The information I have is that there will be a massive launch of the project early February, and the people of Tobago can look forward to that. In between that launch and now, we will schedule several meetings with all the stakeholders from Port of Spain who we feel will impact the project in some way, including the EMA, the Port Authority of Trinidad and Tobago, the various ministries of tourism and works and all of that. And we will attempt to find a way to ensure that we have buy-in of the central government. Because a project like this requires that we bring the central government to the table in a meaningful way, and again, as responsible government in Tobago, we will attempt to do that. You know? Are
you concerned that you may not get the support of the government because, from what the Prime Minister stated on previous political platforms, he indicated that you may or may not? Well,
listen, I think that developing Tobago is a benefit to the people of Trinidad and Tobago, to the government of Trinidad and Tobago. And from where I sit, I see no reason why a government will not support this project. There is actually no negative to the project. And political posturing on platforms and so on is one thing, But from where I sit, I cannot see a prime minister born in Tobago not supporting this and not giving and not instructing the various arms of the government to come behind this thing 100%. I just can't see that. And so, leading the, being head of the division that is leading the project, we will do all that we can in a mature way as possible to treat with the risk that we see, and we hope that we would be able to resolve issues that arise and work together when working together is necessary.
But is there any sort of game plan, any sort of contingency plan in case they
Well,
do not have that support?
there is always that. I mean, this project, the way we've designed the project, we've designed the project so that the revenue generating arms of the project will pay for the other aspects of the project, and that will minimize the impact on the THA revenue, the THA subventions. Sorry. And so we don't see a need for the central government to finance aspects of the project. If they come on board and we can negotiate something, then all the power to both of us. But we are pursuing the project as if they won't, because we have a suspicion that they won't.
Okay.
And so far, things are moving nicely. We hope to roll all this out, like I said, early February. So you probably see aspects of it in the month of January going up. And we are excited, and the people of Tobago should be excited. This is one of the things we ran on, and we hope to deliver some parts of it, certainly in our first term.
Okay. And can we get a little hint as to what might be one of the first parts of that project to be implemented?
Well, no, we are negotiating the schedule now,
Okay.
Going back and forth to ensure that when the agreement comes and we move to another stage in the procurement process, that we have in fact approved a baseline schedule that we can share with the people that makes sense. And the team now is going back and forth with the team of the developer, and I would be made public shortly. Yeah.
All right, great. So we're certainly looking forward for that in the new year that's coming. Quite a lot of things that we can see. And, as we're getting ready to wrap, we just got about a minute left. I just want to give you a chance, because I think this might be the last time we have you on for the year.
Indeed.
So,
I think I want to say to the people of Tobago that when we came into office, we knew that we will be judged at a different level to the past administration. At the Division of Infrastructure, we attempted to show that we can expedite the delivery of construction projects. The road here in the back, the steps at King Peter Bay were but examples. We wanted to show that we can master the art of maintenance. I think we are getting better. The road repair resurfacing crew is getting better. Hopefully in the new year we'll get some new equipment as well. And so we wanted people to look at the bigger picture, to look at the governance picture, to look at the autonomy picture, to look at the development picture, and not focus ourselves on potholes and sidewalks and drains.
although those things are important, but
because
yes.
those things, we would have demonstrated that we are on the business of doing that. And we are. We don't have the resources as we would like to pursue all of them at the same time. And people are impatient, and people have expectations. And we will continue to man up to the criticism that we face. But certainly we are coming. In the first quarter of next year, our intent is to focus on the districts of Boku, Mount Pleasant, Blackrock, Bethel, I think, Blackrock, Wim, I think, Lowlands and Crown Point.
All right, great.
And so we would see more work in that area. I know that there are a lot of roads and mishaps and stuff in that area that people have been complaining about. But our goal for the first half maybe of next year is to focus on those 4 districts and to ensure that we are bringing relief to the people as we move forward.
All right, well, and thank you so much, Mr. James, for being on with us and for giving us your perspective on all these things that are going on. And we certainly have a lot to look forward into in 2024.
It's always a pleasure to be here, and I want to thank the people of Scarborough Mount Grace for allowing me the opportunity to serve and represent them.
All right, viewers, and that's how we're going to wrap this morning's conversation on GMT. And I hope you have a safe and wonderful day, and we'll see you again tomorrow.